I think we truly have one of the strongest communities in Web3. I mean, our monkeys love to hang out in Discord. They love to get together in real life. I think we're just super fortunate, just the culture we've built at Onchain Monkey, that it really is like this family, and people. And so I think that is, definitely a huge win for us, is just our community and how passionate they really are about Onchain Monkey.
Welcome to Unraveling Crypto, everyone. Today we have a really awesome guest, Amanda Terry. Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Before we get into you and everything that you've been building and creating, I always love to start with, what are you most grateful for at the moment?
Man, I am most grateful for the opportunity to work on something I'm really passionate about and love what I do every day.
Absolutely love that. Follow-up question is, what's your superpower? That thing that comes to you most natural, probably have been doing it your whole life, and it's your forte.
I would say building community and connecting people together.
So it's like, if it's perfect with what you're building right now.
It is aligned with, some of my natural strengths and interests and talents.
Great. So I love to just get going with, if you can tell us a bit about yourself and how you got into crypto.
Sure. So again, my name is Amanda Terry. I'm co-founder and chief operating officer of Metagood. Metagood is the company behind Onchain Monkey. We're really shaping the future of digital assets through technology, art, and community. We launched the first 10,000 profile pic collection, all done in a single Ethereum transaction, back in November 2021, and we've created an incredible community around that, where kind of owning your on-chain monkey is your passport into this wealthy digital nation in Web3. And wealth can mean financial wealth. We've created a lot of over 25 million in profits for our community. It can be physical health. So we have a group of monkeys that like to work out together and post their workouts on Discord and Twitter. It can be social connectivity. We've done a lot of IRL events. We've done online events like a poker tournament with our investors, Charlie Lee, the creator of Litecoin, Owen Wilson, Woody Harrelson. And it can be social impact. So we've done things like using the secondary trading revenues of our NFTs to get Sharbat Gula and her family out of Afghanistan, Italy. We've helped to rebuild homes impacted by the typhoons in the Philippines. And we've raised almost $200,000 for humanitarian aid for Ukraine just through the sales of our NFTs. How I got into crypto originally is through our co-founder and chairman, Bill Tai, who was one of the first investor in Dapper Labs in 2018. And we helped to create a crypto kitty named Hanu Kitty, which we sold at the Necker Blockchain Summit, raised about 50 grand, and it was the first NFT for ocean conservation. So we donated all of those proceeds to Captain Paul Watson to park a boat off the coast of Antigua to protect a turtle nesting area. And kind of fast forward 3 years, and Bill introduced me to Danny, my co-founder and CEO, who was the founder of the Stanford Bitcoin meetup in 2013, and created MyCoin, which is the largest cryptocurrency exchange in Taiwan. And Danny is kind of the mastermind and, technical genius who both coded Onchain Monkey, our original collection in 2021, and then also brought 10,000 of those monkeys on-chain to Bitcoin in February of this year, which was like the first 10,000 NFTs inscribed on Bitcoin.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's incredible, because no one thought Ordinals was going to come, and it came out of like nowhere. And Onchain Monkey being one of the first, with a mega ambitious project, and you did so. So that's really exciting. I want to get into a bit what you've been talking about, the community. I think that is one of the most common words said in the Web3 space, and it can be sometimes really challenging to build a community. So could you describe the energy and the vibe and what really the Onchain Monkey community is about?
Sure. I mean, I think it's really almost like, I think it's more like family than community. I mean, people are really close. When we launched the collection, we said that our values were RISE. If you go in and you see our Twitter, Discord, people say exclamation point RISE, which stands for respect, treat everyone with respect, integrity, strive for the highest ethical standards, sustainability, which is build for the future, and enrichment. So we want to create wealth that enables people to do real world good. And I think with that, we've just really attracted this incredible group of people that believe that Web3 can obviously be used to create wealth, but also do real world good. And so we've been very fortunate to have a very low listing at any time on OpenSea or Nifty Gateway, any of the marketplaces. I think there's only 1 or 2% listed at any time. And, just people are very excited about kind of our ability to innovate technically and kind of be first in many respects in the NFT space, and, build, on Bitcoin. And so, we are attracting more than just the typical NFT crowd. We're now starting to attract people from kind of like the Bitcoin community as well, which obviously hasn't seen the bump in NFTs yet because Ordinals is so new as of February this year.
Yeah, and tell us a little bit about what made the decision to go towards Ordinals. Has there always been a love for Bitcoin, or did you guys see that as an opportunity to get more individuals into the family?
I think the Ordinals thing was pretty new. I mean, our Dimensions collection, which is the first 3D animated collection on Bitcoin, which is very cool, very first of its kind, was something that Danny was working on that art even before the Ordinals protocol came out. And then when Ordinals came out, he's like, "Oh wow, I can actually do this," on Bitcoin. So it was really cool. But that was something that he was working on doing for a bit. But I think, we just view it as, Ethereum has, half the market cap of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is obviously the most decentralized, secure L1 that has not yet kind of experienced the ecosystem bump that, Ethereum, Polygon, Solana all did from NFTs. So we see it as a huge opportunity as you see kind of like the number of inscriptions go up. And obviously, it's obviously something that other people are seeing in the market too, is kind of a very exciting new growth trend on Bitcoin.
Yeah. And what did the community think about that? Because I know sometimes there can be this weirdness in the space about ETH and Bitcoin. Was this something that everybody welcomed? Were there question marks being asked, or was just a natural?
Well, I mean, I think we're one of the few collections that have been really successfully going cross-chain, both, launching the first 10,000 PFP collection on Ethereum and a single Ethereum transaction that had never been done before back in September. Then we did an airdrop of 10,000 desserts for our holders. So anyone that was a Genesis holder got a dessert dropped to them. And the rarest of those, like the top 20 of those, were selling for over $200,000. So that was, obviously a lot of value creation for the community. Then we did a public mint of Karma monkeys, which was done by the Hollywood animation team behind Ice Age, Rio and Ferdinand. So that, minted out last June. And then now with our, anyone who owns a Onchain Monkey Genesis will also receive that ordinal version. So kind of that first 10,000 that were inscribed, we basically said, as long as you own a Genesis monkey, you will also get your monkey on an ordinal, which is pretty, exciting as well. And then we've been right now in the middle of our Dimensions kind of allow list period, where we'll have 300 dimensions sold on Bitcoin for 0.08 Bitcoin, and then another 2,000 on Ethereum. For anyone that already owns a Genesis monkey, you can also get You can choose which monkey will get its 3D animated version of dimensions. So yeah, it's in terms of being able to be cross chain, I don't think there's been that many collections that have been able to do both Ethereum and Bitcoin. And that's really the testament to our, incredible founder, Danny, and our technical team to be able to do that. It's been interesting seeing kind of the commentary of the Bitcoin maxis who are first saying that this is, including Michael Saylor, saying, this is not a good use of the Bitcoin blockchain space. And then now he's like, oh, this is a boon to miners and this is actually a good thing. So it's been, we'll be down in Miami next week for several Bitcoin related conferences and Ordinals conferences. And it'll be interesting to see the debate.
Yeah, that is definitely going to be interesting. I mean, I live here in Miami, so I definitely will see you.
Great.
Yeah. But I guess tell us a little bit about the Dimensions collection that is coming out. And you said to be able to get it, can anybody get on the allow list, or do you have to be a Genesis holder?
No, we're actually trying to attract kind of some new people into the community. So the dimensions will be using the Onchain Monkey Genesis metadata or DNA, actually from the Metagood collection. So there's some really cool rare ones like gold monkeys, alien monkeys in the Metagood collection that will be used to create the dimensions. So it's actually a great opportunity to come in if you're interested in kind of getting one of these like very high end art, first time 3D generated animated NFTs that will be on kind of very early Satoshis dating back from like the beginning of Bitcoin, like 2009. So it's a very cool and special collection. And I said like 300 will be available. The DNA of those will be some from the Metagood collection. And then there'll be another 2,000 that if you own a Genesis monkey, you can select which monkey will be turned into the dimension.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is what makes, I feel, Onchain Monkey very unique, because there's a lot of intentionality behind it. And I think that it's really easy to create an NFT project, but to bring value, to bring like the whole story together you don't see that as often, especially if you want to be long term. And that's where I'd love to get your thoughts. So what is the short-term goals for Onchain Monkey, and what are the long-term goals?
I mean, short term, obviously, as I mentioned, we want to be kind of this passport to a wealthy digital nation. So creating value for our holders is number one. We always, every day, are thinking about, okay, how do we create more value for our holders, whether it's short term or long term decisions. So we do, a lot of, we do a lot of really cool things at NFT NYC this year. We did a private party on the New York Stock Exchange floor. I mean, that was like a first for a lot of monkeys, who are, a lot of traditional finance people, maybe who got into NFTs. It was kind of a dream for them to get to be on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange and see Onchain Monkey and all the big jumbotrons. That was pretty cool. Yeah, so we do some pretty cool things. As I mentioned, we just launched a partnership with Asprey Studio, who is the Web3 studio behind the brands Asprey, which is the jeweler from like 1781. They did all the furniture on the Titanic, and Bugatti, one of the most luxurious car brands. They're creating 111 physical eggs. We'll be creating the generative art NFTs on Bitcoin. And so there's going to be some very cool IRL opportunities as well with Asprey Studio in London that we'll be offering to our holders. So short term, it's, value creation, be it, financial, as I mentioned, kind of IRL social connectivity, or impact. We also put 50% of our public mint revenues from the Karma Mint into a DAO. So there's over $4 million in the Onchain Monkey DAO that any use to both propose to get funding and vote on how those funds are used. So there's a lot of value there for our holders as well. And then I'd say longer term, I think we are building kind of the leading company for high value digital assets on Bitcoin. So our own launches, both the Ordinal launch we did for Onchain Monkey, the stuff we're doing with Asprey Bugatti, our Dimensions launch. We'll also be doing a collection with Art Blocks artist Alexis Andre, who is creating a collection off of the Onchain Monkey DNA. They'll also be available on Bitcoin, and there'll probably be some additional things they'll be announcing around kind of infrastructure and tooling to help grow the ecosystem of NFTs on Bitcoin. They'll be announcing soon. So I think long term, it's really to be the leading Bitcoin company for high value digital assets.
Yeah, wow, that's pretty awesome. I want to keep it simple. So a lot of the community here for Unraveling Crypto, they are crypto curious, maybe not full, like they haven't fully dabbled into the space. What would you recommend for someone to join the community? Like, what's the first step? Would you say to get into the Dimensions project, or what's another way? Because sometimes looking outside in, the price is quite high for somebody. It seems really risky. They don't really know like what they're going to get, what's the value. So what would you recommend?
Yeah, I mean, I think you can join the Discord. Like, you won't have access to everything on Onchain Monkey Discord if you're not a holder, but I mean, that's a good way to kind of just, obviously follow Onchain Monkey on Twitter. You can kind of see what we're up to. The Karma monkeys are at a lower price point than, the Genesis monkeys. So depending, what your budget is, I would definitely check out on OCM Karma.
Yeah.
And those are, beautiful art that was done kind of by, as I mentioned, the Academy nominated team, animation team behind the movies Ice Age, Rio and Ferdinand. So you can get a really cool monkey at a pretty decent price point to join our community. And then you get full access to Discord and to a lot of the benefits of membership in the Onchain Monkey community.
Yeah. And what would you say? I mean, there's lots of value that you get out from joining in, but if you do, what can someone, if you like from the outside, and like, what can they say they expect to get out of it? Like, I'm part of the community. What stories have you heard, or what's the common thread that most people say that they love?
I mean, again, I think it really depends on what you're looking for. I mean, I think from a financial standpoint, people have done quite well financially in terms of holding their NFTs and the price going up over time. I think if you're interested in technical innovation, this is probably one of the strongest technical teams in the space. All of us founders are doxed, and if you're fascinated by the technology, the stuff we're doing with the Dimensions collection is really first of its kind in terms of the animation and it being 3D and on Bitcoin. Like, there's been nothing like that. And, gain access to early Satoshis, back from like when Bitcoin was started in 2009 is very cool. And, I don't think there's any collection doing that. There's a group that, from the DAO, they got some funding and they literally did a couch to 10K program where they were all motivating each other to work out. We also launched a token, which is currently off chain. It's called the banana token. So if you're a holder, you can start earning those bananas. And if you kind of think, in the future, maybe taking the path somewhat like an ape coin, that's, motivational, that's financially motivational for some people. Also just, people reward each other who are working out together with these bananas, or if you're doing good things in the community, it's a kind of a reward for that. So that's kind of another interesting angle. And then I just say you have like this incredible network of builders. I mean, we've been super fortunate in terms of our investor base to have everyone from the founders of Dapper Labs, YGG, Axie Infinity, CEO of Algorand, Holly Branson, who runs Virgin Unite, Owen Wilson, Woody Harrelson, Mark Yusko of Morgan Creek Capital Management, CEO of 9gag, Ray Chan, CEO of Etherscan, Guy Osiri, who's been kind of pivotal in Yuga Labs. So just a really interesting group of investors who are accessible to different degrees, to our network, both through events that we do in person and then also online.
I think this is something that everybody can kind of like in the space. There's always something that's going to attract you to, and then you go down the rabbit hole. So there's like a delicate balance between the founding team of like Metagood and then of course the community because of the ownership. What's a good balance that you've seen that's worked for you guys, and what would you recommend for aspiring projects?
I would say, our DAO is actually really cool. It's actually, obviously a separate entity, and we hired a contractor who actually helps to manage the DAO. So it is separate from Metagood and from Onchain Monkey. All of our Onchain Monkey holders are voting members of the DAO. And it's, they're now in season 2, round 3. And there's been incredible, like, really cool projects that have been, funded through the DAO. So I think it's a great opportunity for people if you're a builder or you have an idea for something that either helps to build the Onchain Monkey brand or add value to the community. Or in this last season was around building the bananas economy, so goods and services that people could redeem for our fungible token, the bananas. To get involved and get funding. There literally been businesses started from the DAO, like NFT canvases, which is kind of like a token gated. You get very high quality prints like this in my background of your NFTs. To people have done creative endeavors, like there are songs now on Spotify, Onchain Monkey theme songs. So people kind of got funded to go do that. There have been, social impact, like some folks from Brazil actually rehabilitated a skate park that was kind of unused or unusable. And from top down, it looks like an on-chain monkey. And then they did like a Brazilian rap competition there. So all sorts of, there's a group out of Belize that are doing like monthly beach cleanups with kind of a work study collective that's based out of Belize. And so there's a number of like really cool things that people have gotten funded to go do through the Onchain Monkey DAO.
Cool. So I want to ask a little bit about you, Amanda. Like, what would you say as like a founder and someone that wants to build in the space? What have been your biggest wins and maybe a lesson that you've learned along the way of coming into Web3?
I think biggest wins are just like, I think we truly have one of the strongest communities in Web3. I mean, our monkeys love to hang out in Discord. They love to get together in real life. I think we're just super fortunate, just the culture we've built at Onchain Monkey, that it really is like this family and people. And so I think that is, definitely a huge win for us, is just our community and how passionate they really are about Onchain Monkey, and that they want to spend a lot of their own time and resources to be together, whether it's online in Discord or in real life and hang out. I think there's been a lot of like strong friendships that have been made, and businesses, as I mentioned, kind of through this community. So that's a huge win. I'd also just say like our team, like we have an incredible team. We have about 18-person team right now at Onchain Monkey, and some super strong developer talent, obviously, that's able to pull off the different launches that we have. Just strong record of delivery and execution. We've got just a really strong bench of people on the team. So I think I'm very proud of like the team that we have at Onchain Monkey. Strong community leads, strong marketing, strong product, strong art team. In terms of things that I've, I guess, learned personally coming into Web3, which is trying to find a little bit of life balance is important too. And that's only something I say like in the last like week or so, I've been trying to, make sure that I'm not online at all hours of the night, which is easy to do in Web3 because there's always stuff going on in Discord and Twitter. But, trying to make sure that we, that I'm getting enough sleep and kind of taking care of myself as well.
Yeah,
important.
I think you get so lost in the sauce in Web3. So you do multiple things, and you're also a managing partner at, is it Acti?
Acti Ventures, yeah. Yeah.
And how did you, like, briefly, I know we're gonna, last question, just how do you manage, being a part, like a founder and then also a managing partner? I think we see that often in the space. But yeah, how do you manage working in this, and what's really cool about the Acti Ventures?
Yeah, so I had been personally investing with Bill since about 2018, just writing small angel checks to some of the companies he was investing in. For anyone who doesn't know Bill Tai, he was the first investor in Zoom, and he seeded Canva, Dapper Labs, now 23 public traded companies. The CNBC disruptor list just came out yesterday, and he's invested in 2 of the top 10 of those personally. So he's just incredible track record as an investor, and I've been very lucky to get to work alongside him and have him as a mentor personally. But yeah, so we raised that fund, and we are kind of believe that, the thesis there is that digitization can bring about, more efficiency and make in different industries and make processes more scalable and replicable and decentralized. And obviously, like blockchain Web3 is kind of, falls staunchly within that thesis. And so, a third, let's say almost a half, a third of our investments today have been kind of Web3 crypto. And, I'm very fortunate that a lot of the stuff I do at Metagood and Onchain Monkey dovetails with the fund as well. So if I'm speaking at a conference, I'm usually meeting companies or founders and, who are potentially looking for investment. So it's a lot of I think, synergies between what I do at Onchain Monkey and also the fund. And I think, working on the fund and knowing what I know in terms of how we invest and how I invest has helped me to be a better founder as well at Onchain Monkey. We're not fundraising right now, but should we fundraise, I have a lot better understanding of kind of the ecosystem and how to best present the company and what investors are thinking about when they're looking to invest. So I think a lot of it, fortunately, dovetails together. But in terms of what's really cool about Acti, we just have an incredible list of LPs from, some of the founders of some of the top blockchain companies, crypto funds. And yeah, so I feel hugely honored to get to represent some of their capital and put their financial capital, and then I say more importantly, the social capital that they have to work with some of our portfolio companies.
Yeah, I mean, thank you for taking the time, because I seeing someone like you doing really incredible things and building the space is really inspiring, I think, for many of us. So yeah, awesome for that. I have the last few questions are called lightning rounds, and they're just a series of questions to answer as fast as possible. Okay, are you ready?
Sure.
Your favorite drink?
Oh, sparkling water.
Mine too.
It sounds really boring, but I drink a lot of it. I just had to get one of those machines because I felt like I was being really wasteful on cans and water. So yeah, so I drink, like 2 big bottles of those a day, probably. So yeah, I drink a lot of sparkling water.
Your favorite book?
I really like the book, The Little Prince. Like, it's something I also read to my daughter, but I think it's a good tale. I like it.
One thing you cannot stand?
I think generally I'm pretty averse to negativity, like whether it's on our team or in Discord or community or something. I just I like to try to find ways to solve problems and not like I'd rather have somebody tell me, hey, I think this is what we could do better than complain about something. So I think generally negativity is something I'm not super a fan of.
Yeah. One piece of advice you want to share with the world right now?
Yeah, I mean, this is obviously, kind of going back to Onchain Monkey, but I think if you want to create wealth and you want to use that wealth to do good in the world, then I'd say you definitely, and this is not, do your own research, and this is not financial advice, but I would definitely say, check out Onchain Monkey, because that's really the ethos of what our NFT collection's about. And yeah.
Love that.
If those 2 things resonate with you, come check out Onchain Monkey.
Yeah. Your favorite place on earth?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's probably wherever my family and my friends are. So I've moved a few places. I've been in New York, Austin, San Francisco. But yeah, I don't think I have like a specific place. I think it's just being with the right people.
Yeah. And then last question, what do you love most about yourself?
I mean, I definitely have like a strong work ethic, but I think I'm also pretty humble.
I love that. Well, Amanda, thank you so much for taking the time for coming here. If you love this episode, please just subscribe, share with someone that you love. This is the way to grow the pod and just to share the message of Onchain Monkey and Amanda. Thank you, everyone.
Great. Appreciate your time. Thank you.